Hi Pisces, welcome back to As Above So Below Healing Tarot, where you are the magic baby. This is going to be a reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus Pisceans. So we're going to get into this. We're going to do a little bit of a love reading today. So we're going to start off with the mermaids. See what's happening. Spirit, what's going on for Pisces in love? What's happening in their world, their emotional life? Sacrifice. There are those worth making. There are those that will destroy you. Okay, so Pisces, I feel like you have had to sacrifice possibly relationships. This can be with friendships, with lovers. You've had to, I'm hearing, cut the cord or pull the plug on certain relationships because it was taking away your life force. It was draining you, and you ultimately had to move away. And I think it was probably one of the hardest things that you've had to do. It's not something that you wanted to do, but the cycle kept repeating itself, and you had the choice to either continue the cycle or to step away. And I think you chose to step away. You chose yourself, and that is amazing. So, all right, we're gonna get into the romance angels. See, let's get a bit deeper here. All right, we have flirt, extend your lighthearted energy to others. Love this. So if you are single, ready to mingle, I feel like you are coming out of a period of feeling low, feeling like, I'm just so drained. I don't know where I'm being led, what's happening. It's just very much, I'm so tired of being in this cycle. So, all right, Spirit, what else? We have new love. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. I love this. Yes. So Pisces, again, you may be stepping into a new relationship, into a new beginning, into new love. And I think it's really bringing up a resurgence of energy in you. It's bringing out the playfulness in you, and it feels very light, and it just feels very magical. So, and then you have make the effort at the bottom of the deck. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. I love this. So Pisces, I also feel like this person could also bring about childlike energy to you. It makes you feel safe. It makes you feel secure, and it makes it feel playful. So continue to bask in the goodness of that. All right, Spirit, what did Pisces have to release? What is this energy that they had to sacrifice and let go of? You have Temperance. This was definitely guided to move away from something, Pisces, because a new beginning, a new offer was being presented to you. Yeah, you have the Chariot. And you have the Queen of Swords. Yep. And you have the Nine of Swords. So Pisces, I feel like in the past you were going round and round about making a decision to cut this off, or I'm also hearing justify their actions to avoid the discomfort of the cut. Because you also have the Queen of Swords here. So you really were in a state of mental turmoil for a long time about this past situation. And I feel like it was a big karmic lesson for you to learn about choosing yourself, about putting the burdens, and to stop self-sacrificing is a really big energy that I'm feeling here. And as we know, Pisces will give anything to help the people that they love, but we've been in a really big up-leveling here of choosing ourselves and to make sure that our energy is stable and secure, and you just had to cut the cord. I feel like you were seeing things and you were feeling things that didn't sit well with you. I'm also getting some manipulation energy. You could have been dealing with narcissistic people, or I feel like you also just kind of stopped having that mutual attraction after a while because of all of the things that have led up to you cutting the cord, saying, I'm done, I can't move on with this. And you chose to sacrifice the relationship instead of sacrificing yourself. And that is exactly what Spirit wanted you to do. Yeah. Yeah. Pisces, I feel like that relationship, it wasn't giving you the emotional maturity that you were needing. It's page energy. And it really made you go into hermit mode and be like, I have to find the inner light with myself. You know, you have the Two of Cups here. I also feel like there was like a lack of emotional reciprocity. I feel like you had to do a lot of the emotional work in the relationship, and you were always left feeling disappointed. There was also just a level of lack, and I feel like there was a lot of resentment that was built up from that, because you are the Queen or the King of Pentacles, and the person that was giving you the energy was the Page of Pentacles. And I feel like you probably met this person earlier in your life, and you had a long-term connection with them, but over time you matured, and I feel like this person didn't. They stayed comfortable, they stayed in their page energy, you know? They were focused on other things, and you grew to overthink it. And I also hear there may have been a lot of self-sabotage. And I think that you just couldn't trust the connection anymore. But now, moving into the present and the future, you are looking pretty. And I also see that you have a new level of boundaries. You have a new understanding of what you're going to tolerate and what you're not. And Queen of Swords, this is the Justice Queen. She can be cold sometimes, but she does it because it's needed. And this is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So some of you may have heavy air placements in your chart. You may have a North Node in an air sign, anything like that. Or your Venus or your moon may be in an air sign, but you are really stimulated. I feel like a lot of your love language is words of affirmation and quality time. And this is you communicating. Like, you have to communicate, and you have to have somebody that meets you on that level of depth. So with the Temperance, the Ace of Pentacles, the Chariot, and the Queen of Swords, like, she is off looking into the future. She's looking in a new direction. And I feel like you were protected through this whole transition, through this whole thing. And you really trusted the pings that Spirit was sending you, because you knew something better was on the other side of it. So I'm going to clarify this Queen of Swords. Spirit, why is Pisces showing up as the Queen of Swords? Why is Pisces showing up as the, Two of Pentacles, the Tower? Yeah, you were juggling with indecision. Chariot, yeah. And ooh, with the Fool at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, you were struggling with indecision, but ultimately you chose to let the Tower fall, let the Tower crumble and move forward. It's almost like a head over heart decision. Like, it feels like you still have or had love for this person, for this situation, but you had to step out of your emotional body and to feel into the logic. And that's really hard for Pisces. It takes almost a level of like dissonance or separation. You have to like separate yourself from your emotions. But you knew you had to do that. You have the Queen of Swords under the Fool again in order to have this new love, this new happy beginning. And I think that you're still working on some trust, some stuff that relationship brought to you. But I don't see you being closed off to love. I don't see you completely, disregarding it. I see you actually embracing the things that you need to work on and the things that relationship taught you. And a lot of this here is about communication and about the things that you are wanting and what you're needing. And I think for the longest time, you didn't know how to communicate that. You didn't know that you can even communicate something like that, And I think that the more and more that your needs were not being met, the more you retreated into hermit mode. It just became like colder and colder and colder, and you couldn't connect on a level anymore. So, but now I feel like you're really on the up and up, Pisces, and you are in a great part of your life. Nothing's perfect, but I do feel like you are embracing the new, you're embracing the change. Spirit, what else is here for love for Pisces? Elephant, a long journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end. Yep. Goldfish, increase in material wealth or spiritual growth. Love that. And a lot of the times that goes hand in hand. You have desk, pay attention to your work, and flute, disappointment in a friend or a lover. And then you have horse at the bottom of the deck. So Pisces, yeah, I feel like you were dealing with a lot of disappointment from this past lover, this past situation. And it really forced you to focus on your work, to focus on your stability, especially if you had like two incomes in one household. You had to become stronger on your own. And that helps bring the right energies to you. It helps you become a magnet for more stability because you're in a space of you don't have to choose out of lack because you have everything that you need. You're choosing somebody who will complement your energy, who will complement your values in your life. And that's a really powerful place to be. And it takes a lot of confidence, a lot of willpower, and a lot of strength and wisdom to even make the cut, to even do the thing, because a lot of people stay stuck in situations that they don't care for. The resentment just becomes a part of their everyday life, and that eats at you. And I think you chose the alternate route. You're like, I'm not going to stay stuck in this because I don't have to. I have the power and I have the choice to choose something different. And that's exactly what you did. So this is beautiful. All right. And let's see. Pisces, what advice is here for Pisces? Foundation. Yep. So a lot of you have moved to a different house. You are in a point of separation with this person, but you're rebuilding your foundation with this Ace of Pentacles here, and I'm hearing you call the shots. Like you hold the power in your life. Spirit, what else is here for Pisces? What else? And you have 27 here, which equates to 9 in numerology. And I'm seeing the 9 of Pentacles, which is a pre-Empress energy, but this is like single life. This is just, basking in your independence. And then you have support. So I feel like you have a strong support system with you. You have strong friends, perhaps family, that see this and understand why you had to make the move, or they support your decision either way, and I feel like that makes the decision easier. And then you have abundance at the bottom of the deck. So Pisces, you are very much supported in this decision. You you had good intentions and you still have good intentions. But the biggest takeaway from this is that you chose yourself, or you are choosing yourself for a better, brighter future. I love that. So, all right, Pisces, if this has resonated, please put some little sparkles on that like button, like, share, subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, hypnotherapy, Reiki, I can do all of those things distance. Or if you are in the Summerville, South Carolina area, I would love to see you in person at my suite. But other than that, I will see you on the next one. Blessed be.